Okay, today I want to talk about this thing that psychologists and therapists call introversion. Okay, introversion has established itself as a nice narrative for people that are shy, timid, and withdrawn, etc. And they say, "Oh, you're introverted. It's a scientific state of being, so you're okay. All right." Um, and what's interesting is that I guess this is just my opinion, however world class it may be. But clinical psychologists and cognitive behavioral therapists and such, they don't really have any true standard of measurement for their results and successes. So essentially, they're mentally and emotionally glad-handing their patients without being able to weigh the results of what they've done versus any real-world results or successes. Okay, and that's kind of where my program is completely different, because we certainly have a measure and standard of a standard of measurement, which results in successes, which is your experiences with women going forward after training. So on one hand, you've got this whole white ivory tower version of just kind of glad handing, emotionally jacking each other off, and you've got disgruntled housewives that don't really have a life, don't really accomplish anything, and they're like, "Oh, I guess I feel better today," and they call that an accomplishment. Versus when you have something that, like, you're trying to get someone to upgrade themselves and be able to achieve certain results and such, that is definitely a truer standard of measurement of how effective the therapy or psychology is. Okay, so I'm just kind of establishing the point that they're wrong a lot of times, because their basis of fact finding is just fucking tepid at best. Okay, so I want to talk about this whole being introverted, this whole idea of introversion. Okay, it's widely accepted that there's a large subset of the population that are simply introverted, and it's like a medical diagnosis at this point, and it's complete bullshit, complete dog shit. It is just a lie. Okay, it's about as bro science as it gets, but these are PhD science or something. I don't know, whatever. Introversion is not what they call it. Okay, they want you to say that, or they want to think that being an introvert is okay. It's normal, when in reality they're all introverts as well, and so they're attempting to rationalize their own behaviors and such as being a normal state of being. Okay, I'm here to tell you that is completely fucking false, fake bullshit. Okay, essentially most of those people are living in, the scientists and psychologists and such, they're living in the bubble of academia, society, corporate society, etc. And it's really sort of just, they're just kind of spinning their wheels, and with their patients, they're also just spinning their wheels. Okay, introversion is not what they say it is. Okay, introversion has a much simpler, more stark biological basis than what they're saying it is, like some sort of like personality type. It's wrong. You do not want to be introverted, because what being introverted is, in actuality, is being prey, living life like prey. Okay, let me explain here real quick. So, scientists were well established with the idea of the fight or flight response. Okay, so you experience a stimulus of danger or fear, and your brain goes fight or flight, and your sympathetic and parasympathetic autonomic nervous system goes into goes live, and then your body gets flooded with hormones and bodily chemicals, and it's fight or flight. Okay. Now, recently in the last 10 years or so, they finally realized it was a trifecta. It wasn't just fight or flight, it was fight, flight, or freeze. Okay, and that changes things. However, their idea of what the whole freeze response was sort of stupid and nowhere near adequate to explain, human existence. Okay, so they tried to say that the freeze response was like, when a baby goat gets captured by a wolf, if the baby goat freezes, then the wolf might get distracted and look elsewhere, and then the baby goat can escape. And that's not true at all. Okay, the freeze response is designed to evade detection in the first place. It's a prevention mechanism. Okay, and that's part of the reason why it's so profoundly common and just sort of embeds itself in the landscape of human existence. Okay, essentially everybody is going through the freeze response many times a day throughout their entire lives. Okay, the freeze response is your body assessing the situation as danger. Okay, that sympathetic autonomic nervous system response, okay, causes tension in your chest, causes you to freeze and clam up. Okay, why? In the case of nature, you can clearly see why. Okay, baby deer or whatever, in the presence of predators, It causes tension in your chest so that you have shallow breathing, so you don't make a lot of noise, and so that you clench down and make a smaller profile. So you're like this. And this is the freeze response. Okay? That's the introversion response, however you want to describe it. Okay, this is introversion. Like this. And they want you to think that that's normal and okay, and it's not. You're being a bitch. Okay? So your body, okay, your brain, excuse me, physiologically, evolutionary speaking, it's trying to help you survive, but it's a vestigial psychological mechanism, physiological mechanism. You don't want it there. Okay, you've got to learn to cut ties with that and come out of your shell, so to speak, come out of your prey shell. Okay, so you do that by breathing in your diaphragm, and I've talked about this in multiple videos and such. But just suffice to say that receiving a diagnosis and prognosis of "I'm an introvert, bro," is not acceptable. Okay, you could waste your entire life being an introvert and just simply not live a fruitful, rich life. Okay, now here's the thing: society, the oligarchy, the capitalist, overlords, etc., that are currently in charge, they are certainly incentivized to keep you an introvert. Okay, if you act like prey, then you're not competition to them. So there is a certain segment of society that does want to keep people as sheep. Okay, just power consolidates itself. Okay, we know competition is healthy, but the people that are already successful and in charge, they don't like competition. They want to consolidate their power and resources, and that's just kind of the way it goes. And so I think there's definitely an influence there as far as on science and therapy and psychology to tell people that being a little bitch is normal and okay, and it's not. Okay, it's a choice you make. It's not like I don't have an option. I just turn into a clamped up, timid. No, you are just not conscious of what your body and brain are doing to you. Okay, your brain says, "Oh my God, danger," and your body goes, and it's from your hypothalamus. It's a sympathetic autonomic nervous system response. You can look it up yourself. The hypothalamus, the pineal gland, the pituitary. The bodily hormones and chemicals. It creates a cascade of a bodily response that creates tension here. And all you guys out there, they're like, well, your brains create a rationalization. Why? Because it would rather accept a fake rationalization for why you're doing this than deny itself and choose something else, because you're scared. And you're trying to maintain that. So if somebody tells you, no, you're wrong, you're just being scared right now, you're like, no, I don't want to believe that. This is right. I should be acting like this. And this is why everybody accepts this prognosis of introversion, because the truth sort of hurts, I guess. It's kind of like a little bit of like a to the nose, right? No, you're just being a little bitch, right? And then nobody wants to hear that. So they're just like, they accept this prognosis, and it's fucking nonsense, okay? Introversion is a curse. It is not something you want, and it's not something that you are forced into or have to choose to accept for yourself, okay? Cut ties with it, okay? Understand that the main reason that it takes over your body is by clenching up here and forcing you to breathe shallowly, okay? Once you have this tension here, okay, and you're like, it makes you feel and act and think a certain way, okay? Breathe down in your diaphragm, and it cuts ties with that hold, that lock on your thinking and behaving. Cool.